It was me, the voice you ignored, the whisper you dismissed, the quiet nudge in your soul you labeled as hesitation or fear. It was me. I called to you when the room was silent, when the world was loud, when your own thoughts drowned my presence. I called not in anger, but in love, not to condemn, but to draw you back. You didn't recognize me because I didn't match your expectations. You looked for flashes of glory, but I came as conviction. You searched for signs in the sky, but I whispered in your sleep. I warned you when your steps drifted. I stirred discomfort in your spirit when you walked into places your soul wasn't made for. I let the tension grow until your peace cracked, not to shame you, but to rescue you. But you silenced me. You labeled my voice as anxiety, guilt, overthinking. You called my truth judgmental, and my correction too heavy. You told yourself it was just your thoughts, but I was speaking through the grief that wouldn't fade, through the joy that felt empty, through the mirrors you avoided and the prayers you rushed. You wanted me to be loud. You wanted me to interrupt your plans with fire, but I am not always in the fire. I am not always in the earthquake. Sometimes I come in a whisper because only those who truly seek me will stop long enough to hear. And even then, even when you ran from the sound, I followed, not as a shadow, but as mercy. I followed when you chose your own way. I stood at the edges of your decisions, and when the consequences came, I wept with you. Not because I was surprised, but because I had warned you, and you thought it was silence. Stop. My silence is never absence. Sometimes my silence is the sound of free will unfolding. Sometimes it's the echo of a heart choosing lesser things. But even in that silence, I was near, grieving with you, longing for you, waiting for the moment you'd turn and realize I never left. Do you remember the restlessness, the unease? You couldn't explain. You blamed your circumstances. You blamed people, but it was your spirit groaning under the weight of disobedience. You were not created to walk away from me without feeling the ache. That ache was my voice too. It was me in the friend who spoke truth you didn't want to hear. It was me in the delay that frustrated you, protecting you from doors that led away from purpose. It was me in the broken plans that saved you from destruction. I was speaking in every closed path. I was present in every hesitation you ignored, but even when you didn't listen, I never changed my tone. I never spoke with cruelty. I never turned my face from you. I waited not with a lecture, but with a longing only a father can hold. I watched you build without me. I watched you cry over things I never gave you. I watched you worship comfort, then wonder why you felt so far from me. Still, I stayed. I spoke again through the quiet pain you tried to bury, through the exhaustion that kept returning, through the heaviness in your soul you tried to treat with distractions. But distraction is a poor substitute for peace, and you knew it. Deep down, you knew. You wanted to forget my voice because it reminded you of what you once promised, of who you used to be before you let the noise take over. But I never forgot. Not one word you spoke in truth, not one moment you opened your heart. I still remember when you first heard me and your eyes filled with tears. I remember how you used to seek me without needing a reason. I remember the way your heart would soften at the mention of my name. I remember because I was there, and I never stopped being there. You drifted, but you were never invisible. You silenced me, but I kept speaking in ways you couldn't block. Through beauty, through ache, through questions, through mercy. And now you're starting to remember too that my voice was not rejection, it was rescued. That my correction was not control, it was care. You are hearing me again, not because I left, but because your soul is quiet enough to recognize me. The noise lost its grip. The world didn't keep its promise. And now, in the silence after the striving, you hear it again, the sound of me calling you by name. You don't need to run. You don't need to hide. I am not here to remind you of how far you fell. I am here to lift you with the same voice you once ignored, the same voice that spoke light into darkness, the same voice that calmed raging seas, the same voice that said, "Come to me, all who are weary." That voice is calling you now. Let the tears fall. Let the striving cease. Let your heart soften again. You don't have to carry the guilt. You don't have to fix what you broke before you come. Just come. I am still the God who receives the prodigal with open arms. I am still the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one. I am still the voice that speaks in storms and whispers in the night. You heard me. You always did. You just didn't want the truth to interrupt your plans. But I am not angry with you. I am not bitter. I am not waiting to punish you. I am waiting to heal you, to restore what was lost, to awaken what was buried, to speak again, this time, into the soil of a heart ready to listen. Because when you listen, everything changes. Peace returns. Direction aligns. Joy is restored. Truth is welcome again. The voice you ignored is still speaking. The voice you silenced is full of love. The voice you feared is your home. Come back, not to religion, not to performance. Come back to me, to the place where your soul finds breath again. I never stopped calling. I never stopped loving, and I will never stop speaking until the day your heart finally says again, yes, I hear you, Lord. You came back with questions, but I received you with peace. You came back with guilt in your hands, thinking you had to explain every wrong turn, every misstep, every delay. But I never asked for your explanation, only your return. You thought I needed details, but I already knew the whole story. I was there for every moment you avoided me. I saw every path you followed instead of mine. And yet I still wanted you, not the perfect version of you, not the polished version you tried to present to others. I wanted the honest you, the weary you, the bruised and broken you, because that is the version that will let me heal what truly needs healing. You heard my voice again, and this time, you didn't silence it. You let it echo, you let it convict, you let it pull down the walls you spent years building. This is where new life begins, when my voice is no longer ignored, but welcomed. You see now how much you needed me. Not just when things fell apart, but when they looked successful on the outside and still felt hollow on the inside. You see now how many things you called blessings were actually distractions. How many relationships I never assigned to you, you fought to keep. How many decisions you made out of fear and called it wisdom. But I am not here to remind you of failure. I am here to rebuild from truth. And truth begins where my voice is. Honored again. The moment you let my whisper be louder than your plans, you stepped back into alignment. The moment you let my conviction lead instead of shame, healing began. This is how restoration works, not through striving, but surrender, not through explanations, but encounter, not through proving yourself, but by simply letting me be God again in your life. Let me reorder your steps, let me untangle what confusion tied up, let me speak peace over the storms you created, and teach you how to walk in wisdom again. Don't need to earn your way back. The moment you turned, I ran. The moment you looked my way, I opened my arms, because I am not like man. I do not love based on performance. I do not stay close only when you get everything right. My love is covenant. My mercy is unfailing. My voice is consistent, even when your heart is not. I don't need your perfection. I need your permission to heal, to guide, to lead, to restore. Let me restore the years you thought were wasted. Let me redeem the moments you thought disqualified you. Let me breathe on the dry places of your soul and cause life to rise again. This is what happens when you finally welcome my voice. You begin to see things differently. You begin to love holiness again. You begin to crave quiet over noise. You stop chasing validation, and you start chasing me. And in that pursuit, I reveal what was hidden, not just about me, but about you, who you are, who you were always meant to be, not the version shaped by fear, not the one molded by culture, but the version I imagined when I formed you in the secret place, the one who listens, the one who obeys, the one who loves my word, the one who trusts even when clarity doesn't come right away. You are becoming that person again. Not by force, but by faith. Not by pressure, but by presence. And as you grow, I will continue to speak, not just in correction, but in comfort. Not just in silence, but in direction. You will hear me in new ways. You will sense me in places you once ignored. You will pause when I whisper. You will go when I lead. You will stay when I say wait. Because now, you're not just hearing my voice, you're following it. And this is where your life changes. Not by changing your surroundings, but by changing your source. I am your source again, and I will not fail you. What I begin, I finish. What I touch, I redeem. Where I dwell, I bring order and life. So welcome me. Welcome my voice to every room in your life. To the parts still afraid. To the places still guarded. To the wounds still tender. Let me speak into them all. Let me tell you who you are until the lies fall away. Let me remind you what I promised till fear loses its grip. Let me sing over you until your spirit dances again. You are not too far, you are not too broken, you are not too behind. You are right on time for what I planned since the beginning. Let the world say what it wants. Let your past scream what it will. My voice will be louder if you let it, because I never stopped speaking. And now, finally, you are listening. You're beginning to understand that obedience is not a burden but a door. Not a punishment, but a promise. Every time you choose my voice over your feelings, heaven moves on your behalf. Every time you pause and surrender the outcome, I multiply what you placed in my hands. This is the difference now. You no longer obey to avoid pain. You obey because you trust me, and trust is the foundation of every step forward from here. Have seen what happens when you silence my voice. You have lived the ache of walking in your own direction, and yet you are still here, not ruined, not rejected, restored, because my grace is not intimidated by your history. My mercy does not run out in the middle of your process. My calling on your life was never based on perfection, but on my sovereignty. I chose you, knowing the detours you'd take. I called you, knowing the rebellion that would rise. I set my love on you knowing how long it would take for you to fully listen, and yet I never changed my mind. You don't have to wonder if you're worthy to carry what I placed inside you. You are, because I placed it there, because I redeemed the vessel, because I cleansed what was broken, and I made room for glory. Let that settle you. Let it quiet the voices of shame. Let it end the cycle of doubt that creeps in when you feel unqualified. You are not unqualified. You are chosen, not just to hear me, but to carry me, to walk in alignment, to live from truth, to model what it means to follow me in a world that no longer listens. Your life is a response to my voice now. Your peace is not based on circumstances, but on presence. My presence. This is maturity. Not that storms stop, but that you stay anchored in me through them. Not that emotions disappear, but that they no longer lead you away. You are maturing, you are growing, and that growth is beautiful to me. Even your stumbles are teaching you to cling to me more quickly. Even your tears are watering the ground of your next season. Nothing is wasted. Not in my hands, not in your story, not in this sacred surrender. And what comes next is not just recovery, it is revelation. I will begin to reveal what I was shaping in you all along. Through the silence, through the waiting, through the discipline, through the redirection. You thought I was delaying, but I was forming. You thought I was distant, but I was deepening your roots. You thought I was silent, but I was sanctifying. Now you'll begin to see what I always saw. Not just the broken places, but the beauty that rises when you let me be your voice. There will be clarity, but it will come in layers. There will be fruit, but it will grow in hidden places first. There will be joy, but it will come not from what you do, but from who you are becoming. You are becoming someone who no longer negotiates with compromise. Someone who chooses peace over performance. Someone who listens when no one else does. This is the path I am establishing for you. Not easy, but eternal. Not loud, but anointed. And through you, others will hear me again, not because of your eloquence, but because of your obedience. Not because of your obedience, but because of your posture. Know now the cost of ignoring me, and you know now the gift of following me. So keep walking, keep listening, keep softening your heart to my every whisper, because what comes next will require more stillness, more discernment, more fire. But don't fear, I am with you in it all, and when you feel like falling, fall into me. When you feel overwhelmed, return to the whisper. When the world is loud again, remember what I sound like, because I'll never stop speaking, and you are made to follow. And even now, as you walk more closely with me, I know there are moments you still question, still wonder, still ache quietly. I see you wrestling not with rebellion anymore, but with responsibility, not with distance, but with direction. You wonder if you're truly ready to carry what I've placed within you. You question whether the past disqualifies your voice. You replay old regrets, and the enemy tries to turn your memory into a prison. But I speak louder than memory. I redeem louder than regret. My voice does not echo your shame, it silences it. It disarms every lie you once agreed with in fear. The voice you now welcome is your compass. It is your covering. It is your anchor when the world begins to roar again. I am proud of you, yes, even now. Not because you've achieved perfection, but because you've returned, because you listen, because you remain teachable, and that posture is the soil of transformation. I am not asking you to carry more than you can bear. I am asking you to let me carry it through you. The burden becomes light when it is shared. The call becomes joy when it is rooted in love, not pressure. I do not rush you, I do not compare you, I do not demand a pace your soul cannot sustain. I walk with you, in your rhythm, in your silence, in your steps of faith. You are not behind. You are being built. And what I am building now will not collapse like before, because this time we are building together. This time, the foundation is trust. This time, your ears are open, and your heart is yielded. There will still be moments of weakness, but they will not destroy you. There will be days of doubt, but they will not define you, because you are learning that my voice can find you even in the fog. Let me continue to refine your hearing. Let me train your spirit to discern even the subtlest shift. Not to make you fearful, but faithful. Not to make you paranoid, but prepared. Because in the days ahead, I will ask things of you that require more than agreement. they will require action. And action is safest when led by intimacy. So stay close, stay available, stay surrendered. I will teach you when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to pour out and when to rest. You are not a machine to produce results. You are a vessel meant to flow with my spirit. Let me shape the rhythm of your life. Let me redefine what productivity means to you. Let me interrupt what the world says is success, and remind you that obedience is always the measure in my kingdom. The fruit you bear will not come from effort alone, but from abiding, from being with me more than working for me, from allowing my voice to speak before any other has a chance to shape your path. I will surround you with wisdom, with counsel, with covering, because my voice is not the only one you were made to hear. I also speak through those I place around you in seasons of growth. Discern the voices I send, reject the ones I did not. Anchor your identity not in reaction, but in revelation. I am building more than a moment. I am forming a life, a legacy, a fragrance that remains long after the noise fades. Keep letting me speak, keep letting me interrupt, keep letting me love you through every layer you thought you had to protect, because in every layer I find more room to dwell, and where I dwell, there is peace, there is light, there is life. Let me fill every room, let me flood every shadow, let me sing louder than fear, let me speak through you, not just to you. Because this voice you now cherish was always meant to become a voice that carries, a witness, a sound that breaks chains in others like it broke chains in you. This is just the beginning. Stay with me. And even now, as you walk more closely with me, I know there are moments you still question, still wonder, still ache quietly. I see you wrestling not with rebellion anymore, but with responsibility, not with distance, but with direction. You wonder if you're truly ready to carry what I've placed within you. You question whether the past disqualifies your voice. You replay old regrets, and the enemy tries to turn your memory into a prison. But I speak louder than memory. I redeem louder than regret. My voice does not echo your shame. It silences it. It disarms every lie you once agreed with in fear. The voice you now welcome is your compass. It is your covering. It is your anchor when the world begins to roar again. And I am proud of you. Yes, even now, not because you've achieved perfection, but because you returned, because you listened, because you remain teachable, and that posture is the soil of transformation. I am not asking you to carry more than you can bear. I am asking you to let me carry it through you. The burden becomes light when it is shared. The call becomes joy when it is rooted in love, not pressure. I do not rush you. I do not compare you. I do not demand a pace your soul cannot sustain. I walk with you, in your rhythm, in your silence, in your steps of faith. You are not behind. You are being built, and what I am building now will not collapse like before, because this time we are building together. This time, the foundation is trust. This time, your ears are open, and your heart is yielded. There will still be moments of weakness, but they will not destroy you. There will be days of doubt, but they will not define you, because you are learning that my voice can find you even in the fog. Let me continue to refine your hearing. Let me train your spirit to discern even the subtlest shift. Not to make you fearful, but faithful. Not to make you paranoid, but prepared. Because in the days ahead, I will ask things of you that require more than agreement. They will require action. And action is safest when led by intimacy. So stay close, stay available, stay surrendered. I will teach you when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to pour out and when to rest. You are not a machine to produce results. You are a vessel meant to flow with my spirit. Let me shape the rhythm of your life. Let me redefine what productivity means to you. Let me interrupt what the world says is success, and remind you that obedience is always the measure in my kingdom. The fruit you bear will not come from effort alone, but from abiding, from being with me more than working for me, from allowing my voice to speak before any other has a chance to shape your path. I will surround you with wisdom, with counsel, with covering, because my voice is not the only one you were made to hear. I also speak through those I place around you in seasons of growth. Discern the voices I send, reject the ones I did not. Anchor your identity not in reaction, but in revelation. I am building more than a moment. I am forming a life, a legacy, a fragrance that remains long after the noise fades. Keep letting me speak, keep letting me interrupt, keep letting me love you through every layer you thought you had to protect, because in every layer I find more room to dwell, and where I dwell, there is peace, there is light, there is life. Let me fill every room, let me flood every shadow, let me sing louder than fear, let me speak through you, not just to you, because this voice you now cherish was always meant to become a voice that carries a witness, a sound that breaks chains in others like it broke chains in you. You will walk with greater wisdom now, not because you know everything, but because you are guided by the one who does. You will enter places of influence, not with noise, but with discernment. Your presence will carry stillness that disrupts confusion. Your peace will be a weapon. It is not by accident that I trusted you with this voice. It is not a mistake that the voice you once ignored is now the voice you protect, that you run to, that you obey even in trembling, because I am rebuilding your interior world, and through that foundation I will reach others. They will recognize the purity, the weight, the light that flows through you. It will not be a performance. It will be presence. And when the world asks, "How did you change?" your answer will be simple: I listened. Now you understand, now you see, not through the eyes of fear, but through the lens of grace. Not with the burden of your past, but with the clarity of redemption. You see the thread of my voice, woven through every chapter of your life. You see how even in your silence I was speaking, how even in your rejection I was pursuing. The voice you ignored was never angry. It was never here to accuse. It was calling you home, again and again, until your soul remembered where it belonged. And now you're home, not in a place, but in me, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the place where your heart finally said, "Yes, Lord, I hear you, I will follow." And I smile, not because you're perfect, but because you're mine, not because you've earned anything, but because you finally received it. Let me tell you, one final time, I never stopped loving you. I never stopped choosing you. I never stopped believing in the beauty I placed inside of you before you ever breathed your first breath. You have heard my voice, and now, you live by it. You breathe by it. You walk in rhythm with it. The noise has lost its grip. The lies have lost their power. And your past has lost its permission to define you. You are not the echo of a broken world. You are the sound of restoration. You are the evidence that even when my voice is ignored, my love never is. You walk forward now, not with doubt, but with depth. You no longer flinch when I whisper. You respond. And through your life, others will learn to hear again. They will watch you listen, and see peace settle on your face. They will hear you speak and recognize a sound that breaks through the noise. You are not just restored. You are commissioned, not for applause, but for awakening. Not to echo me, but to embody me. To walk in step with my spirit, carrying my voice into every dark place that once silenced your own. You will speak with gentleness, because you know what it means to be crushed. You will lead with humility, because you know what it is to be lost. You will love with fire, because you've felt what it's like to be pursued by a love that refuses to let go. This is the fruit of surrender. This is the beauty of a heart healed by truth. My voice is now your anchor, my word, your foundation, my whisper, your weapon. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are covered. You are commissioned. And this is your final lesson, that the voice you once ignored was not only calling you back, but calling you deeper, not just to restore what was lost, but to release what I placed within you for such a time as this. So go, now walk in peace, speak in truth, stand in love, and remember, when the world grows loud again, when confusion knocks again, when fear whispers again, pause and listen, because my voice is still speaking, and now you know how to hear it forever. And always, I am with you, and my voice will lead you home.